This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is the Board of Commissioner meeting for January 13th, 2022. Yeah, this is our first meeting. Happy New Year, everybody. So it seems like we should have probably met even earlier just because the way the calendar fell out. 13th for a regular board meeting is it. So as we get started this morning, as usual, for almost the last 2 years, I'll read our little comment section here in regards to how our meeting is going to be conducted this fine morning. So please bear with me as we go ahead and get this meeting going. So once again, good morning, Commissioner, staff, citizens. Since this is a hybrid type of meeting, there are some initial comments that would be appropriate. And as we all know, as it has been required by the governor's March 24th, 2020 proclamation, the Lake Stevens Sewer District has held its commissioners' meetings remotely using what we would deem the go-to-meeting platform. Well, this has occurred for almost 2 years. We're glad to be able to ensure continuity of business operations and are excited to be able to move to a hybrid meeting as we safely work back to our normal in-person meetings. Members of the public who are participating in this in-person or remote meeting, we are grateful for your support and patience as we work through the interim way of doing business. As required by the Snohomish Health District's August 10th, 2021 directive, masks are required regardless of vaccination status while attending the in-person portion of this meeting. Individuals choosing not to wear masks will be asked to leave and join us remotely, or we do have masks at the front desk that they can obviously use. Members of the public, you've been invited to join the in-person in accordance to CDC and state coronavirus guidelines and via this virtual meeting platform of GoToMeeting. How we will handle the public comments section of our agenda, it'll be done in the following ways. First, comments, questions, concerns received by our office in advance, meaning if you did email them to our sewer district customer service folks, or otherwise received in advance, we'll read those during our public forum aspect of the meeting. Secondly, during the meeting, anybody who wishes to participate remotely and comment, please just signify by either raising your hand through the app or making a note in the chat box, which we do monitor, and you will be given that opportunity to speak and comment. And finally, if you are in person this morning with us, we'll obviously take your comments and give you the opportunity to make any questions, comments, or concerns to the Board of Commissioners this morning. One thing we just have to remember, as usual, because it is a recorded meeting and there are a lot of times that if more than one of us are speaking, it can't differentiate who may have been speaking at that time. Plus, we do take some handwritten notes just to kind of highlight, so it's easier if we try to speak one at a time. So appreciate that. And as we get started, if you could all please just join me this morning for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, once again, good morning, everybody. It's great to see a few people there up on the virtual wall as we look towards that this morning. I did call to order, but I'll just clarify. So this morning, we have myself, Commissioner Dan Lorenzen, Commissioner Kevin Toshi. We have our General Manager, Mariah Lillen, the Assistant General Manager, Jonathan. We have City Council Member, Gary Petershagen in the audience this morning, but there are no public folks that have joined us. So just to kind of give you guys an idea, because the camera doesn't necessarily capture everybody. So that's who's here this morning. So looking at the agenda this morning, we are now down to the agenda approval. It is item number 3 on today's agenda. I will look to staff and to my fellow commissioner if there's any additions, subtractions.
Staff is good.
Staff seems good.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
There is a motion on the table to approve the agenda as presented. I will second that. Any further? Not seeing it. We'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It has passed. Okay. If you're following us on the agenda this morning, we're moving on down to item 4, consent agenda items. These items have been previously reviewed in detail by your commissioners, and so it is just on the consent agenda. There's A through I on that. Any questions, comments, concerns? Not seeing anybody raise that. Entertain a motion
I'll
to,
make a motion to approve consent items A through I.
there is a motion on the floor to approve consent agenda items A through I, which I will make a second to that. Any further discussion on it? Not seeing any from my fellow commissioner. I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion has carried. Believe it or not, we have now moved down to the public forum. This was what we had made our little caveat, which took probably more time this morning to read. Have we received any public comments? No. Email. Nothing's come in through the office. I'm looking up at the virtual wall, looking at the little chat box. It has not lit up like there is a line waiting to speak to us. But I would look to the audience, which we have Council Member Peter Shagan. Please.
Thank you, Commissioners. Gary Peter Sagan, representing Lake Stephen City Council. I see on your agenda here, you have a discussion on vacant commissioner position down under new business. The latter part of December, I received an email from your previous board member resigning, and would ask that consideration be given to the utility committee to help in review a new commissioner position. Again, just asking for consideration of that. It seems that in the last 6 to 9 months, there's been a spirit of cooperation between the folks on the utility committee, and having been appointed to the utility committee here again to serve this next year, hopefully we can continue that cooperation, and again, not asking for us to make a decision, but just be involved in the process as to who folks are candidates are being interviewed. So with that, hopefully that discussion will take place under item E, and appreciate your time, consideration for that. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to caveat a little bit, I know it will be a topic at the next utility meeting that we have coming up 2 weeks, somewhere in the mix. I think it is, everybody was going to be, I think it's on the 25th. Our whole calendar is kind of shifted, but I'm sure there'll be more discussion to follow, because I know it has been put out to the general public that we would be accepting applications. It's been on the website for that too. And I'm sure staff will give us a slight update as we move down there. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And look and see if it did light up on the chat. Not seeing anything light up there. So I guess we'll go ahead and close the public forum aspect of the meeting. As you look down to item number 6 under old business, we're actually doing pretty good because there is no old business up there. So it means we're taking care of everything. But as you go into new business, you can see we got quite the list. So there are just A through E, and I'm sure we'll be able to get through that. But with that being said, as we move into the new business, A is going to be Lake Stephen School District Pretreatment Code Variance Application. And I'm going to turn that over to staff.
All right. So the Lake Stephen School District is asking for a variance from our pretreatment requirements, which would require that they install a grease removal device this year. They are at Skyline and Glenwood. They are preparing meals. They aren't cleaning up after any hot meals. They're serving bagged lunches. And they are saying that the requirement to install a grease removal device right now would not benefit them. So the district staff recommends the variance for approval with the condition of we'll do an annual pre-treatment inspection to make sure that nothing's changed. And then if it has changed, then we'll readdress the grease removal device installation. So again, district staff recommends the variance for approval.
Okay, thank you. Questions, comments, concerns by the other commissioner? I'd entertain a motion.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the Lake Stephen School District pretreatment code variance application and appropriate signatures if required by staff.
Okay, so there is a motion on the floor to approve the Lake Stephen School District pretreatment code variance application with the caveats that the assistant general manager had read into the notes, and any signatures that need to be applied can be done by administrative team. So with that being said, I would, that was my second. Call for a vote. All in favor? We are done. Thank you. So moving on down, resolution number 1018 is under item B. If you're following us this morning under the agenda, and that is repealing resolution number 934 and replacing the DEA deposit fees. If you don't understand what DEA is, that's Developer Extension Agreements. So sometimes we use a little acronyms and people don't understand it, but I'll look to staff to give us this update.
All right. Resolution 1018 is asking the commission to raise the deposit we require for developer extension agreements from $2,500 to $5,000. And then, if you may recall, we had a reduced cost DEA deposit for different phases attached to the same project. So North is a good example, 3 phases. Phase 1 paid the $2,500 deposit, and then there was a half price deposit or $1,500 deposit for each subsequent phase. So the district or staff is proposing we raise the DEA deposit to $5,000 and the subsequent DEA for phases to $2,500. And the reason for this is we're finding that outstanding expenses are exceeding the deposit amount. And we haven't changed the deposit since 2006. So it doesn't necessarily reflect the current cost of doing business. So the resolution's been reviewed by legal and district staff recommends it for approval.
Perfect. Okay, so resolution number 1018 is on the floor. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, just how many projects have we looked back to where it's overran the deposit? I mean, has it been like all of them?
Essentially, by the end of the project, there's outstanding billing that exceeds $2,500.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And Commissioners, just so it's clear for you and in the minutes, there was an updated resolution sent that just clarifies first that resolution 934 is only being repealed to the extent that it's inconsistent with this resolution. And then second, this updated resolution just provides some of that background information that Jonathan just described, that we haven't updated deposits in over 15 years.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, that's my only question. I would, if it's exceeding, if we're getting to that dollar amount that we're proposing to take up front, the vast majority of time, then it would seem appropriate. I'd rather not use public money when we're doing development. So,
Yeah, that makes 2 of us. So,
okay, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 1018, repealing resolution portion of 934 where it's inconsistent and replacing with the DEA compliance fees.
So there is a resolution motion on number 1018. I would go ahead and second that motion for resolution 1018. Any further? Not hearing any, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Resolution 1018 has passed. Thank you, everybody, for the hard work on that. We're going to move on to item C. This is resolution 1019. It is for transfer of capital funds, and I will look to staff to give everybody in the audience on the virtual wall the update before the Board of Commissioners take any action.
All right. So by resolution is the way that we transfer funds between different accounts. And so resolution 1019 is the documentation that we need in order to make that transfer from Fund 46, which is where we place the connection fees that we've collected, and then into Fund 58, which is where we make the expenditures out of. So you'll notice the amount that we're transferring or requesting to transfer is $1,322,849.40. And that breakdown is included in the resolution for which projects that is for. So this resolution 1019 has been reviewed by legal and is recommended by staff.
Perfect. Thank you.
You mean we gotta pay for the capital project, so,
That's generally how it works. I mean.
all right, well, we have to.
So, okay, well, there is a motion, or I don't know if there's
I'll
a
make- yeah,
motion.
sorry. Sorry. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 1019, transfer capital fund.
So there's a motion on the floor that has been made for the resolution 1019, transfer capital funds. It has been reviewed by legal. It has been explained by staff. And it's all detailed in regards to how those funds will go to their allocated positions. So with that being said, I will second that resolution, the motion for the resolution. Any further? I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It has carried. Thank you. And last of the resolutions today, believe it or not, would be under item D is resolution 1020. This is reconfirming the schedule and location of the Board of Commissioners meetings. I don't know if they've moved us out of the building, but at this point we're here, so.
Finally to Bora Bora, as I requested.
Well, that doesn't reflect in the resolution we've got here. The resolution 1020 is an annual resolution that we have in order to just reconfirm for public and for ourselves when and where board meetings regularly will be held. And so there's been no changes to where and when. This is just the 2022 version of the same resolution. So it's been reviewed by legal and is recommended by staff.
Perfect. And just for those in the virtual wall, there'll still be the option. This doesn't mean we're going to eliminate this because we still have a lot of staff that work remotely or some of our folks that we partner with remotely. And so it does make sense to work it that way. So you'll always be able to find us on GoToMeetings on these days. So
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 1020, reconfirming our schedule and locations for commissioner meetings.
And I will go ahead and second resolution 1020, which is the reconfirming the time and place. No further discussion, I assume, because Bora Bora didn't work for you. So, you could buy your GoToMeeting platform, but we like to see you here. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's passed. So we are committed for at least another 365 days in this beautiful office. Moving on down to item E. So if you're following, item E under the new business is discussion of vacant commissioner position. To kind of just update, as Councilmember Peter Shagan had mentioned during the public forum, Commissioner Stevenson had an opportunity that she could not pass up suddenly, and she has resigned her position back in December, effective immediately. I know that we all had received an email with that. It was accepted. The Board of Commissioners now have an opportunity, as prescribed under the RCW, to eventually go through a process. And right now, what we have done is it has been advertised on our website. I think I've seen it play on Facebook and any other forum out there. And so we're still at the beginning stages. I think the application doesn't close till February or somewhere in that. So there's still plenty of time for those that have an interest that want to become a commissioner can apply. So with that being said, I'm going to look to staff because obviously the folks aren't contacting me and they're not contacting, I think, well, they might reach out to say, what does it entail? But we've mainly directed them towards staff.
Yeah, thank you for the recap. So the resignation was submitted December 27th. So the board has 90 days to appoint a new commissioner. If the board does not appoint within 90 days, the county council then has the opportunity to appoint in a certain time frame, and if they don't, then it goes to the governor's office. I don't anticipate that being the situation. I really think the board will get this done within 90 days. As you mentioned, I did put out on our website and in social media a request for those interested to turn in a resume and cover letter. just stating that they would be interested so we can follow up with them. It'll be a public interview process in order to appoint whoever you two would like for that commissioner position. And then I'm open to whatever else you would like me to do in the meantime, or involve the utility committee or whatever. It was just an opportunity today to make sure the public understands the process and answer any questions.
No, perfect. I mean, I guess prospectively, I know that when we did learn of it, we were thinking, let's have a discussion. I know you and I had spoke by the phone after we received the notification, or days after, somewhere in there. That it would be something that would come to the utility committee. I think it's important to be able to, kind of get some input in that. So, yeah, I guess we're just waiting. I know that I had been given a name to reach out to one person, and I reached out to them, and when they finally got back, they said, no, thank you. So it didn't work out like I was thinking, and all we do is reach out, because I think some people have questions. They don't know what it exactly entails. One of those things, commissioner has multiple meetings depending on what part of the country you come from. And so some people think a commissioner runs something a little more than what we do, when it's really just, it's an elected, we're a part paid elected on a stipend. So I think that our friends on the city council side understand that too and get the same thing. So
You didn't dazzle with our pay package?
yeah, I sent them and I didn't hear for days. I thought, okay, maybe I got the wrong number or something. And it was like a week later, I got the call back and they said, yeah, not really. I'm just too busy. Like, oh, okay. So it is what it is. I mean, that's how it is. I think a lot of times when people understand what goes into it,
Especially if you come from a different region that has an independent district, because darn near all of them do full health benefits.
Oh, it is very
and
common.
Lake
Yeah.
Stevens is the only one that.
We're the outlier.
We're the outlier, so
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
if folks are,
Yeah.
doing that in their calculus.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, do we have a sense, so we have 90 days, which puts us somewhere in the latter part of March to get this done. We have, I think the only utility committee meeting we have on is later the next, I think it's 2 weeks out. It's towards the end of January.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really get real until you have a field of applicants in which, so it's that first part. Do we feel like what we're doing from an advertising or getting the word out, is that fielding sufficient, folks?
Not sure.
Or
At this
too
point,
early.
I have 0 that have actually turned in opinion.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think it really is going to take identifying individuals and getting them to actually put in for it.
And I guess I would look to, we've had some elected, some folks run for office recently that weren't successful in their bid, and maybe we ask them if they want, I guess I'm looking for, and we also looked at city council folks and the utility. They may know some people that they can help.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing on the front end is
Yeah.
to identify folks that are
Interesting.
interested in and can bring something to the public process.
Yes.
So I guess, involvement, there's the first opportunity for involvement.
Yeah.
I would welcome that to ideally flesh out a field of folks that we can dialogue with.
Yeah. Because I know that in the past when we've, in city count, when I was associated more on the city side, you would get some of the folks that would be on some of the special purpose commissions that were similar to a board of commission, but planning commission. Or we used to have, there were different commissioners based on different projects, the City of Parks Commission and some of those people, it's kind of a first step sometimes that they want to really get involved in the community, and maybe there's something more beyond that, but so I thought maybe you would have reached out. Like I said, I reached out to one that somebody passed me the name and they said, yeah, no thanks, and they ran the other way. That's just part of it sometimes.
Maybe I should take the next call.
Yeah. But I think, we got 2 weeks and hopefully we'll see something in the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Look forward to the utility committee. And like I said, I know that on the utility side with this, well, at least on the city council side, between a couple of the members that are the utility commission with the mayor, you guys probably do have some conversations and again, can bring some ideas or maybe some input that you may know that some folks on that side have. So always worth looking, because I would hate to default past the 90 days because we can't find a candidate. That would be a difficult, I've never seen it where we've had an issue trying to.
I'll get a family member to do it, if nothing else.
Well, we replace you with your significant other, it'd be more fun. I mean.
That wouldn't be the person, actually.
Okay, well, I don't know if there's any other, if everybody else has anything, but I appreciate everybody. And like I said, we'll look forward to seeing what we get in the next couple of weeks before and maybe have something to report. And if you all want to check in 2 weeks, because the utility meetings are go-to meeting platform also. So maybe we'll have some updates. Maybe there'll be some more people that'll reach out in the interim. So it could have been just part of, it's the new year.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to just get things in order for 2022. And this was just one of those things. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Well, with that being said, we're going to move on down to the manager's reports. The first one up under item 8, under item 8 is going to be the general manager's report.
Alrighty, so in admin, we're really working on year end and beginning of year stuff. It's a very busy time for our accounting and customer service staff that they're getting it done. With the comp plan, I did reach out to them and requested that they do a rate analysis, that we're going to have to look at maybe raising rates, and what the rates surrounding us are. So hopefully that'll be at our next board meeting, that they'll be ready for that discussion. Plant flows right now are 4.1 million gallons a day. Our nitrates right now are actually down. We were running around 18 milligrams per liter, and we've gotten about a 45% reduction based on operator changes that they've been able to make. So that's really encouraging and successful for us. We're down to about 10.1 milligrams per liter, which is awesome. So hopefully those numbers continue, and we meet our requirements this year. The cold spell took quite a toll on the plant. Plant doesn't run real well when it goes cold. We had a lot of problems with our boilers and keeping them running, so a lot of overtime hours spent just trying to keep the plant moving. But the team's working through it, and very proud of them and thankful for that. The path is being closed has also taken quite the toll on us. We haul all of our biosolids over east, and none of that has been able to occur. And so we are quite backed up with a lot of biosolids. Yesterday, we finally were able to get a second trailer in, because we are full. Lots of inventory down there. So as soon as those passes can open, we'll be sitting much better. We did start the new sampling that's required for the nutrient permit, so that's all set in place now. And then we'll get whatever the new monitoring requirements, the middle form is. We've heard from Ecology that'll come out next month, even though we've started already. And we did Chris Iris, who is our newest operator down at the plant that we got out of Colorado. So we actually finally heard back from Ecology, and he is a grade 4 for Washington property. Wow. So that is really good news for us, and happy that he's here and really awesome. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Well, and I think, I think as you might have noted, if you were listening closely as we were talking about rates and looking at those type of things, these are some of the effects, as we all know, that come down because of the fact that buildable lands become more scarce within the city. And I know that we have signed a letter as a Board of Commissioners to the exec's office with Snohomish County, supporting the expansion in certain areas of the growth management areas for the UGA, for the city of Lake Stevens in the future as the comprehensive plan gets there. And the reason for that, obviously, we're paying a lot of the debt that comes within this organization that when we built the new plant through these new connections and these fees that are associated with. So it's not something that we take lightly. We have held the line for 5 years on our current rate, which is extraordinary in any government operation, to tell you the truth. So it is something that we are going to have to address this coming year, because as those buildable lands become less and less, and we have no certainties that the county is going to allow the city to expand, we have to be able to ensure that dollars that it takes for capital improvements, for infrastructure and things like that are sufficiently put into place, because those are some requirements we have under law. So that is just a caveat if you do have, or you're wondering why that was brought up, and it might be one of the first times you heard it. So, okay. Citizen GM, you are up.
All right. Well, we ended 2021 with 605.59 general facility charges collected and issued 487 permits. We're working on final acceptance of Toll Estates, which is 14 lot DEA, just about wrapping them up. Working to implement a new pre-treatment software, or pre-treatment tracking software that we just purchased called Swift Comply. We have a kickoff meeting next week, but the Swift Comply is going to create a portal where both our food service establishments and all of the people maintaining their grease removal devices can upload manifests, and we can put out notices of violation through the website. So there's a two-way portal for them to communicate with us and us with them. So that we're looking forward to that. Right now, we're doing all of the pre-treatment and tracking on Excel spreadsheets, from paper to data input, and then phone calls and form letters. So the software will do it for us, and we're hoping to save probably 0.25 FTE time on that. So the wet weather is also stressing our lift stations. So there was a lot of overtime last month. The wet weather is always a good stress test for the stations to help us find the weaknesses, but unfortunately they all came at the same time. So no spills, but a lot of overtime. The crews did a great job keeping the sewer in the pipe. So kudos to them. And that's all I've got.
Well, I would just say it's great to see that we've got some sort of software for a compliance engine. I know that's big on the fire side, especially inspection, sprinkler systems and this and that. So you're not chasing people down. People can subscribe, put it into the compliance engine, and then it's documented and everything else.
A lot less vulnerable to an individual becoming ill, changing position, leaving. I mean, yeah, a lot of that.
Oh, that's awesome. Good. You know, I wondered how many gallons were flowing ever since all the snow came and then went away real quick. And we know that a lot of that sometimes seeps into our system. So, you know, quite the flows.
Yeah.
So. Okay, moving down to item 9, I see the city administrator up on the wall. This is his opportunity. Please, Gene.
Great, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Quick update for you. We made it through the snow event, so our mechanic is busy putting equipment back together, greasing and preparing for the next event, which will hopefully be late this year and not again recently. So, but yeah, we did a debrief yesterday and talked about things that went well and areas for improvement after the snow event. So that was good to do that debrief. We've been holding interviews for various positions from the PD to Public Works to today we've got a finance position, it's capital projects manager position interviews. So a lot of work in the HR realm. We had another accreditation meeting for Public Works yesterday, and we've assigned the first of many tasks to come to folks. And we've also launched a computer program called Power DMS, which all of our policies will be housed there. And the great part about Power DMS is it will actually send reminders to those responsible for those policies annually to do updates and reviews. And so there'll be accountability with that as well. We're pretty excited about it. And we appreciate the partnership with the sewer district. And Jonathan and Mariah, as your tasks pop up on our spreadsheet, I will be sure to send those over to you. But I think you guys have January off. So I appreciate everybody, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Gene. No, appreciate it. I remember Power DMS. We use that with Lexipol for our policies and procedures in the police as far as, you know, it helps with the accreditation process. So it's a great program. Well, with that, we are down to item 10, which is commissioners' reports. I just wanted to, are we having an exec session today? No exec session. Wow, that's pretty good. I'm sure legal's thinking, woohoo, but well, we'll move into commissioners.
No, just a couple words. Chris, congratulations on the level 4. That's fantastic. I'm glad the folks in Washington see the light and allow that to take place. So congrats there. Great to have you on the team, and nice to spend a little bit of time with you at the holiday get together as well. Yeah, with the flows high and the cold weather challenges and the wet weather challenges, there's nothing like something like that to not only stress the equipment, but also challenge the teams. And so great time to take stock, new year, through those different challenges and know where we're at. So I appreciate everybody's hard work on that. And if there's other things as we learn through those stressed times that we can address either as a board or as a leadership team, I just ask folks not to be shy. Let's keep the communication going so that we can make sure that we're poised for the next one, because the only thing we know for sure is there will be a next one. But that's all I got. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you. No, I would reiterate, thank you for all the work everybody's doing as a team in the organization, our new employees and everything. It was great to see everybody towards the end of the year, and then we had this huge gap. And then we're back in for 2022, but no, I really look forward to 2022. We have a busy year. We of course say that every single year, but it is. It's one of those things. If you're in an organization like we are, that's very nimble. We do a lot of work with very few folks, and I appreciate all the hard work because I know that our folks do more than 100%. They do 110% when they do these things and make it work. So once again, we appreciate it because you guys make us all look very, very good in the eyes of the public, and that's really what we appreciate because we do the right thing all the time. I noticed on our agenda, we never put this year's president of the board or the secretary, so I think it kind of defaulted to where it's at, so I think I'm stuck there of some sort, but we can always bring it up and have a lively debate at the next one, which I don't have a problem
You
continuing
can
in
add
the
it to
role.
the next one, or I didn't know if you wanted to wait until you filled all 3 positions, or what you would like to do.
We could do that, or we could stay, if my co-heart is fine where he's at and does not want to be the tip of the spear for any little, it's not a big deal. I have no issue, so.
We can pick it up later.
Yep.
When we're full, but
Yep.
it's fine.
Yeah, I just, it's not the end of the world, but thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of the work you guys are doing. It's very appreciated for, you know, the Board of Commissioners. We look forward to getting a new individual on board. And if you all know somebody who lives within the Lake Stevens UGA within our district, please pass their name and encourage them to apply for a position. It's a great way to give back to the community and be able to see the different aspects of how organizations operate. So we appreciate that. As reiterated previously, but there is no exec session, which is a good thing. I think we're down to the conclusion of this fine meeting.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.